particular order. But each of them really is important, and it encapsulates the dua that we say for our parents, that we learn from the Quran. Rabbi Fili wali walidayya warhamhuma kama rabbayani saghira. Oh my Lord, oh my Master, forgive me and forgive my mother and my father, and have mercy on them, have compassion on them, show them love. Warhamhuma means to show love, but it's a love that protects, and a love that nurtures, and a love that raises a person, that builds a person. It's the kind of love that a mother has for her child. This is really the best expression of rahmah that we can think of, right? A mother who loves her child, and that love for her child. Oh Allah, show them rahmah, show them compassionate love as they reared me. Kama rabbayani saghira, as they reared me, as they raised me, as they, rabbayani means to nurture, to cultivate, to take something from one stage to the next stage, to the next stage, to the next stage, until it reaches completion and perfection. When I was little. And this is your job as a parent. Your child is like a seed. And I have a friend in Atlanta, Kofi, may Allah preserve him, mashallah. He's a master gardener and a master farmer. And he said to me one time that when he was a little boy, his mother made sure that each and every one of his brothers, sisters, and he as well, had their own garden. You ever seen that before? Not just one garden for the family, each one had their own little garden, and that they were responsible for planting the seeds, taking care of the plants, watering them, and making sure if there's any infestation, they took care of it. And he said, that prepared me to be a good father. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says about the raising of Sayyidina Maryam alayhi salam, of Lady Mary, the mother of Jesus alayhi salam, peace be upon them. Ambatnaha nabatan hasana. Allah says, we made her grow like a plant. Ambatna means to grow like a plant. Nabat is a plant. We caused her to grow with a beautiful growing, meaning two things. Because if you look at the structure of the ayah, ambatna means we caused her to grow. But the adverb that's describing the process of causing her to grow is a different form. It should be albatna inbatan, for example, not nabatan hasana. So what Allah Ta'ala is telling us is that we caused her to grow, but not only that, is our causing her to grow was beautiful, but not only that, she herself had a beautiful soul. So to raise amazing children, to raise awesome children, to raise resilient children, empathetic children, to raise children that are faithful to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and that are dutiful to their parents, and that are a benefit to humanity and beyond, not just humanity, but to the planet, to the world, to the cosmos. You need an environment. You need an environment to nurture that child that is conducive to what you have in mind. For those of you some of you saw the title, 7 Habits of Highly Effective Muslim Parents, and it made you think of Stephen Covey's book, didn't it, right? 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. If you haven't read it, do yourself a favor, buy the book yesterday and read it. Buy it yesterday. Very important book. 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. And the second thing, or the third habit of people that are highly effective is what? Begin with the end in mind. Begin with the end in mind. What kind of child do I want to raise? What kind of adult do I want this boy or girl to become? That's the question you have to ask. And so it takes 2 things. It's the environment in which you nurture the child, but then as Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says about Sayyidina Maryam alayhi salam, about our mother Mary, the mother of Jesus, peace and blessings be upon them both, it's not just the environment, but the nature of the child also. The child should have a desire. Should have a desire to be good. And that needs to be cultivated, inshallah ta'ala. The better the environment, the more the likelihood is. Now, the nature of every human being is pure. Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, كُلُّ مَوْلُودٍ يُولَدُ عَلَى الْفِطْرَةِ, that every infant is born on the fitrah. And the fitrah is this original, innate, pure, innocent state that every human being is born with. You want to see what the fitrah looks like? Look at a newborn baby. There's no hatred. There's no judging. There's no anger. No excuses. No fear even. A newborn child, only scientists say a newborn only has 2 fears. Does anyone know what they are?
Eat and sleep.
Huh? Go ahead.
Hunger.
Hunger? No. They're not afraid of it. So they might get upset, but they're not afraid. They have 2 fears. Fear of falling, so they feel unstable, and fear of loud noises. That's it. All the other fears that you and I have, we learned them. You learned them from who? Your mother, your father, your brothers, your sisters, your uncles, your aunts, your cousins. The responsibility of a father and a mother is to keep the child in that state of fitrah. And what we're going to be talking about today is how to keep your children in the fitrah. The fitrah is the state of the human being when they have an inclination and an openness to Islam. Not just being Muslim in identity or culture, but the Islam is in their soul. And this, my brothers and sisters, is where so many of our parents are failing our children today. And so what I want to be sharing with you, inshallah ta'ala, is not just how to make your child a good Muslim, who follows the rules, who looks like a good Muslim on the outside, but when they're with their friends, and unfortunately we have a big problem with this all over the Muslim world. When they're at home, they do their prayers. When they're at home, they fast Ramadan. When they're at home, they are very respectful, very obedient, right? But when they're not at home, they may be drinking alcohol, or smoking e-cigarettes, or abusing opioids, right? Smoking marijuana, sleeping around, fornicating, adultery. So how do we raise children who the Islam is here? It's here. It's not, they don't wear it on their head, like a kufi, a topi, or a hijab, but it's in their hearts. Now before we get into the meat, I want to share something with you. Muslims, we always like to talk about the Yahud, don't we? We like to talk about the Jews. Sometimes positive, sometimes not so positive. Right? what we like to talk about. This is one of the hobbies of Muslims. That, and we like to talk about politics, right? The Jews, there's a book that's out that shares the secrets of the Jewish community for raising children. It's written by a Jewish woman. Right? If you want to know the title, I can share it with you, Sean. She shows that there are four principles that they follow. And now I'm not saying we should follow this. I'm not saying we should follow this, but I'm just starting with this, okay? Now she starts by saying, less than 1% of the world's population is Jewish. Anyone know how many Jews are in the world?
15 million.
Yeah, 15 million, more or less. Just 15 million. Fine. Some major cities like Los Angeles, New York, their population is about the number of Jews in the whole world. In the whole world. That population of people, as of 2016, this is from 2016 when she wrote the book, 170 of the 850 Nobel Prize winners, Jewish. And I'm saying this because a lot of Muslim parents, they struggle with this deen-dunya dichotomy. And what we have, the reason why I'm sharing this is because for many of us, we try to keep our children from becoming too religious, right? We don't want them to be too Muslim, but at the same time, we don't equip them to excel in the dunya, not just make a good living, but to excel in the dunya. And so what happens with so many Muslim children around the world, they don't excel in their deen, nor do they excel in their dunya. There's mediocrity in their deen, and there's mediocrity in their dunya. And we don't want this. What is the dua that we say? رَبَّنَا آتِنَا فِي الدُّنْيَا حَسَنَةً وَفِي الْآخِرَةِ وَقِنَا عَذَابَ النَّارِ. Oh Allah, give us the best, that which is most excellent, that which is most beautiful in the dunya, and give us that which is most beautiful in the hereafter. This is how the Muslim should be, and save us from the fire. 170 out of the 850 Nobel Prize winners, Jewish. She mentions 21% of Ivy League students, Jewish. 21%. 37% of Academy Award-winning directors are Jewish. 51% of the Pulitzer Prize winners are Jewish. Now this is in a world that is very anti-Jewish. Mm-hmm. Yes or no? In fact, last year, 2019, the hate crimes against Jews exceeded that of any other minority group in the United States. And not only that, it's increasing, it's rising. Hate crimes against Jews are increasing. And it's been like this for many, many years. This is not a new statistic. Mm-hmm. So in spite of the discrimination, in spite of the persecution, in spite of all of these things, they've managed to raise children that, and I'll quote her, children that are successful, creative, empathetic, that's rahmah, rahmah is empathy, independent, and independent. Now I'm going to share, before I go into the highly effective habits of highly effective Muslim parents, I just want to share with you what she says, what she shared. Maybe she didn't share all the beans, right? She didn't spill all the beans. But this is what she says are the reasons why Jewish parents are so successful at raising children who excel in the dunya. I'm not saying they excel in the akhirah. I'm not saying that. But I'm saying in the dunya. She says, number one, they teach their children to distrust authority. And she says this is because of our unique history with governments persecuting us. Now, so this is a defense mechanism, but it can backfire, especially when you distrust the authority of your prophets or the ultimate authority of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, right? But she says, and she goes into this, like why we teach our children to distrust authority. It backfires with the parents even, right? The second thing she says is we encourage geekiness. You know what geekiness is? What does it mean to be a geek?
Like a nerd.
Does anyone know?
Like a nerd.
So a nerd is a kind of geek. You're close. Being technical is a kind of geek. Anyone geek? So when someone calls you a geek, it's usually an insult. But they've taken it and made it something they're proud of. And Best Buy even has a whole group of people called Geek Squad, right? It's this idea that yes, we're geeks and you need us to take care of your computers, right? And your electronics. A geek is someone who's strange, someone who's weird. Because of the unique nature of the Jewish people, she's saying we instill in our children that it is good to be strange. They're not teaching them that their intelligence, their history, or their culture is something they should hide. Now we know that there are Jews that do blend in and Jews that do their best to assimilate with the dominant white culture, right? As many Muslims do as well. But her point is those that excel are unashamedly, unabashedly Jewish. So if your thing is being smart, they promote that, they encourage that, and that's part of their identity. Being a geek, geekiness. The third thing she says is we read to our children, and this is something I'm going to mention later on. We read and we laugh. Storytelling is important. Mm-hmm. Do you read to your children? And this kind of overlaps with what I'm going to share, inshallah ta'ala. It's necessary to read to your children. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, it's not by any accident that Allah ta'ala begins the wahi, اقرأ باسم ربك الذي خلق خلق الإنسان من علق اقرأ وربك الأكرم الذي علم بالقلم الذي علم بالقلم الذي علم بالقلم علم الإنسان ما لم يعلم. Read, recite. This is how the Quran began. You should read, we should read to our children before they take naps, before they go to sleep at night. Read to them. And don't just read to them, but recite to them. Tell them stories. Tell them your story. It's very important. Tell them the story of your parents, of your parents' parents, as far back as you can go. Tell them the stories of Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam and the other anbiya, the other prophets and messengers. These, especially when they're young, especially when they're from the age of when they're just really my teachers, they told me when I was having our first child, they told us read Quran to your children when they're still in the womb of your wife. You start reading as soon as you know that the wife is pregnant. You don't wait till they're 2 or 3 or they start Quman or something. There's a brother I know, he actually attends this masjid. He told me, my mother used to recite Surah Al-Rahman every day when she carried me. Read. Read to your children. Even President Obama told us to read, right? Read to your children. You'll see the benefits later on. It starts when they're young, telling them stories. And one of the best stories, of course, is the stories of the prophets, the stories of the family of the Prophet ﷺ, the stories of the Sahaba. And especially when they're young, 7 and younger, tell them the stories of the miracles of the Prophet ﷺ. If you don't know them, just Google it, miracles of the Prophet Muhammad ﷺ. The little children love these stories. Love these stories. And then she said, we encourage laughter and a sense of humor, because we could not have survived thousands of years of persecution without having a sense of humor. And those of you who know Jewish brothers and sisters like Rabbi, heal the world. Go out and heal the whole world. And that is why she said so many of our children are doctors, so many of them are lawyers, so many of them are social activists, because they teach their children it's important to make a positive difference in the world. Yeah. It's not enough just to help your family. It's not enough just to help yourself. It's not enough just to help Jews make a difference in the world and heal the world. But now, if we had more time, I would ask you to make your own list. And I would put you into groups and have you share with each other and you can report. This is number 1. Who know their values. They know their Quranic values. Quranic values. Their family mission. And they infuse this into the life of the family on a daily basis. Not just through their words, but through their deeds and through their character. They infuse taqwa, reverence, obedience, and consciousness of Allah Ta'ala on a daily basis. They don't break the rules when it's convenient. Because as your children get older, they will notice and they will even call you out on hypocrisy. They will. As soon as they get tall enough to look at you in the eye. Very important. Eating dinner with your children every day. Quality time. But not just quality, quantity. Number 4. We'll just touch on each one very quickly. Inshallah ta'ala. And this, I think, the next two, I think, are the hardest for a lot of Muslim families. Allow Muslims who are highly effective parents, they allow their children to face challenges on their own. They prepare them for the challenges, and they allow them to face challenges. And they allow them, and they teach them how to succeed. But they also teach them how to fail. Teach the children how to succeed and teach them how to fail. You succeed with humility, and you fail without despair. You succeed with gratitude to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and you fail knowing that failure is just one step on your journey to success. Like Muhammad Ali said, a champion is not the person who doesn't get knocked down. A champion is the person who gets knocked down and then what?
Where's his mom?
Rises up. That's the champion. Right? Like the phoenix. Burned to ashes and then rises from the ashes. Parents who are Muslim parents that are highly effective, they equip their children with the skills to face such challenges, and they also model the sabr, the patience, and the trust in Allah that they want their children to have in situations of success and situations of failure. maybe you didn't pass the exam this time. Okay, no problem. We're going to find out where our weaknesses are, and we're going to study smarter and harder, and we're going to take it again. Some of us, we don't want to see our children fail. So much so that we protect them, and they come into adulthood not being able to know how to lose. Right? You know this culture, everyone gets a trophy. Right? So hey, you know what I'm talking about? Everyone gets a trophy, right? The team that lost, they get trophies. Everyone gets a trophy. Just showing up, you get a trophy. No, they need to learn what it's like to lose. How to be a good sportsman, right? When you lose. But the next habit, highly effective Muslim parents love and respect their children. They love and they respect their children. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala teaches us not to say oof to our children. And we know that Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, Allah ta'ala teaches us not for children not to say oof. Teaches us not to say oof to our parents. And Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam never said oof to the children. Anas ibn Malik, radiallahu anhu, his companion, who served him for 10 years. 10 years. He said, I served the Prophet ﷺ for 10 years, and he never once said oof to me. Oof is the least show of frustration and displeasure among the Arabs. Not once. And then he goes on, nor did he ever say to me, why did you do that? And why didn't you do that? Not once. And it wasn't because Anas was an angel. Sometimes Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, we have hadith, he would give Anas a command, an order. Anas would, no, I'm not going to do it, no. Or he would go play. He would drop things, break things in the house. He wasn't perfect. But not once in the wives of the Prophet ﷺ, some of them would reprimand and chide Anas. And Rasulullah ﷺ would say, leave him. Leave him. Leave him. Nothing comes from him except that which Allah has decreed. Love and respect your children and nurture their innate talents. Realize you cannot control your children. Can't control them. They don't belong to you. They don't, you know how some people say, right? I don't know if people say this in other cultures, but in African American cultures, the African American culture, sometimes you hear parents say, I brought you into this world, I can take you out. You better do what I said. I brought you in, I can take you out. I own you. No. You don't own the children. They belong to who? Allah. Who do they belong to? Mothers. Who do your children belong to? Who? See, only a few sisters. You hear that? The brothers, Allah. As the brothers, we know we believe in cruise control. Right? We like the cruise control. The sisters, it's very hard for them to let go. Don't you know that Allah loves your children more than you love them? Trust Allah. Tawakkul. Inna Allah yuhibbul mutawakkilin. Allah loves those who place their trust on Him. You do your best. All right. So this is a very big topic. You want to be, and I'll say this, there are 4 parenting styles. We don't have time to go into all of them. But I'll just say this, you can look them up. There are parents that are permissive parents. They have low demands, and they are low in responding to their children. Not much of a relationship. And then there are parents that are authoritarian. And many of us Muslims, we come from authoritarian cultures. I said it. This is how we do it. This is what Islam says. Not what Allah, we don't say what Allah says. We say this is what Islam says. There's a big difference between what Allah says and what Islam says. Why? If you say Islam says it, and now I can, I can go. But if I say Allah says, okay, now show me the Quran. Where does Allah say it? If I say Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam said it, now I can be held accountable. Okay, well, show me the hadith. It says I have to do this. So we say Islam says. Stop saying Islam says. Islam is not a person that talks. Stop saying Islam says. And if you're quoting a scholar or some book, then quote the book. Say, this scholar says. But don't say Islam. Authoritarian parents, they have high demands, right? But low engagement, low responsiveness to their children, no relationship. And then there are parents that are authoritative, not authoritarian, authoritative. They have high demands, high standards, and they have a high degree of responsiveness to their children and their grandchildren. They're engaged. They show up. And then the fourth parenting style is the uninvolved parent. They have low demands and low engagement. So think about yourself. Which are you? Are you the permissive? Yeah, it's okay. Whatever. Go. Are you the authoritative? Are you the authoritarian parent? Or are you the uninvolved parent in your style? May Allah Ta'ala give us success to be authoritative. Because those are the kind of parents that raise children that are resilient. You don't control your parents, but you can guide them, you can model them. Don't tell them, do it because I said it. Let them see that your guidance is coming from the Quran and the Sunnah. Let them see that your guidance is coming from your righteous ancestors. Let them see what you say in your actions. Like the famous story about Sayyidina Umar ibn al-Khattab, a woman came to him and said, please tell my son to stop eating so much, meat, salt,
sweet,
sugar. He said, give me a week. And after a week, he found her. Don't share that. You have to know your values. And once you identify what those values are, brothers and sisters, now you work on a plan to instill those values into your children. How? We already talked about telling stories. Also through songs. Children love songs. And it is halal. It is halal to sing, just as the Sahaba sang in the time of the Prophet ﷺ. And it is especially halal to sing songs about Quranic values to your children. To your children. By arts and crafts, making things that express the values that your family holds dear. And teaching practical lessons, life lessons. Know the mission of your family. What's the mission of your family? Again, if you have more time, I would love for everyone to write down. What is your family's mission? Because if you know the mission of your family, you can now help your children discover their mission within the family. What is their life purpose within the purpose of your family? Why did Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala create your family? Do you know the answer to that question? Have you thought about that? Or are you just here to... Okay, so you say, well, we're here to worship Allah. لا خلقت الجن والإنس إلا ليعبدون. Allah says, I did not create jinn nor humans except to worship me. But what is your family's particular contribution to that worship? The Prophet ﷺ, he knew the role of his family. And he knew the role of his tribe. And you can trace it all the way back to the dua of Prophet Ibrahim alayhi salam. What's the role, what's the mission of your family, what's the mission of your tribe? Whether you're from Sierra Leone, or from Pakistan, or India, or Bangladesh, or Nigeria, or whether you're from America, what is the mission of your people? لِكُلٍّ وِجْهَةٌ مُوَلِّهَا. Everything has a direction to which it is facing and turning. Everything. And then you teach your children about it. It's very important to give them a sense of purpose. The next thing is that highly effective Muslim parents, and just one last thing before I go to the next. There's some families, Muslim families, that even go to the point of writing mission statements for their family. Just like some of you do for your businesses and your nonprofits. This is what our family represents. This is what it stands for. Do that for your family. I would love for, again, if we had more time. Craft. Sit down with your wife. Sit down with your children and make sure consult, come up with a mission, a vision for your family. What is your contribution to the world? How will you heal the world? The next habit of highly effective Muslim parents is dua, supplication. But it's not just making dua and then your heart, sisters, your heart is just broken over what's going to happen to your children. Make dua and trust that Allah is going to take care of those children. Make dua. Make dua. We recited one of them after the salah. رَبَّنَا هَبْ لَنَا مِنْ أَزْوَاجِنَا وَذُرِّيَّاتِنَا قُرَّةَ أَعْيُنٍ وَاجْعَلْنَا لِلْمُتَّقِينَ إِمَامًا. We have our Lord, grant us a gift. The gift of spouses. It doesn't say wives, by the way, it says spouses, because the translations, they leave out, it's spouses. It's not just the wives that should be the coolness of your eye. The husbands too. And from our offspring, not just the children. Min dhurriyatina. Your dhurriyats are not just your children. They are your children's 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 children till the day of judgment. Allah, give us offspring that bring tears of joy to our eyes. وَاجْعَلْنَا لِلْمُتَّقِينَ إِمَامًا. And then make us, see, mission. Make our family leaders for the people of taqwa, for the people of obedience and consciousness and reverence for Allah Ta'ala. And there's so many du'as throughout the Quran of prophets praying for their children. So what about you and me? And when is the best time to make dua? Early in the morning? Tahajjud. The best time to make dua is the last third of the night. When the Prophet ﷺ said, Allah descends to the lowest heaven. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is descending. Of course, we don't take it literally, but as befits His Majesty subhanahu wa ta'ala. And He asks, who is asking so that I can give them? The last third of the night. Get up and make dua, inshallah ta'ala. Pray for your children. And when you pray for your children, have yaqeen, have certainty that Allah ta'ala will answer your prayer. I remember when I was younger, when I was in my 20s, there was an amazing book I read about the scholars of Sudan. Big book about all these scholars and salihin of Sudan. It's amazing, righteous people. And 50% of the biographies that I read they quoted them as saying, I became who I am today because of the prayer of my mother. The prayer of my mother. That's what made me who I am, a giant. I became a giant in righteousness, in knowledge. I became successful because of the prayer of my mother. And so, brothers and sisters, pray and don't waver. Don't feel that Allah Ta'ala is not going to accept your prayers. The third thing, spend quality and abundant time with your children. And the second part of that, and spend quality time away from your children. I know you don't agree. I remember when I first got married, one of the uncles, his name was Ijaz Bhai. He told me, and when I just got married, he had children already in college. He said, my wife and I have never gone out on a date from the day our first child got born. Part of being successful in parenting and not being stressed out all the time is taking some time away for self-care. So you can rejuvenate. It will make you a better parent. Just you and your wife, just you and your husband. Send your children to grandparents or the aunties or the uncles, or if you don't have family nearby, take turns with another family. Say, look, when vacation time is coming, can you watch our children? Someone you trust, someone you love, someone you respect. Can you watch the children? We're going to go away for a few days. And the next holiday, we'll watch your children. This is what community is about. Spend quality time with your children. We talked about reading to them, helping them with their homework. Don't be like, the soccer mom, just driving in the minivan, dropping the children at Taekwondo, dropping them at Quran, dropping them with Sheikh Ismail, then you drop them at Kuman, then you drop them at karate, and then you drop them at Saturday school. Where's the parenting? Do you know how many minutes the average American spends with their children a day?
30.
Not even 30. 10, 15 minutes.
Wow.
And one-on-one time.
Yeah.
No TV. I'm not talking about you're sitting in the same room with them. I mean, you and your child are talking. You are engaged with them only. No phone, no TV, no devices, no computer, just you and your child playing together. Like the saying attributed to Sayyidina Ali ibn Abi Talib radiallahu anhu, he said, لَعِبُهُمْ سَبْعًا. The first thing, play with your children for the first 7 years. Play with them. And one of my elders, one auntie told me, get on the floor on your knees and play with your children. It doesn't just mean buy them toys and say, okay, go. No, that's not parenting. And so really we have to stop this. The Prophet ﷺ used to carry Hassan and Hussein on his shoulders. He used to throw them. Umama, his granddaughter, he used to carry her at the salah, leading the prayer. She's walking in the front of the masjid, just wherever she wants. This is Islam. Spend quality time with your children. If they spend, how many hours do they spend in school? 7 hours? Some of them have extracurricular activities, 8 hours, 9 hours. So 9 hours in school, then they come home, and if they're in West Windsor, they have 5 hours of homework. Right? So what? Maybe you eat with them, maybe you have dinner with them, right? Inshallah, you have dinner with them, which is a very good practice. MashaAllah, many of the families here, alhamdulillah, I've noticed over the past 2 years. You should never tell your children, this one is my favorite. All your children should not be able to tell who is, and there maybe you have a child who's the one that is most beloved to you. No one should be able to tell. Huh? Like I've said this before. My children ask me all the time, who's your favorite? I say, you're my favorite Maryam. Right? You're my favorite Hussein. They can't tell. Because I don't telegraph my love, right? Like in martial arts. You don't telegraph. But the last one, brothers and sisters, is Muslims that are highly effective parents. They create traditions memorable. Let me say this. They create memorable, happy, joyful, and meaningful traditions in their families. And they celebrate life. They instill and infuse into their children that this is a faith of happiness and joy. Not a faith of sadness and anger. So what are some traditions? Anyone here, I'm asking, what are some traditions that you started in your family? It's not something maybe you learned from your parents or your grandparents. Anybody? Nobody? Yes, Dr. Popola.
The kind of names we bear.
Okay, so he said the kind of names.
The kind of names we bear. Because of
yes.
who we are. We start our name African with Ade and Ola, which means wealth and position and rank.
Ade is crown,
yeah.
right? Yeah.
Ola is wealth.
Ola is wealth.
We all over 200 of us.
Yeah.
Ade, Ola, and Ade.
Okay, very good. So that's an example. Over 200 people in his family. This is the males, right? Or male and female? Male and female. They all share the same prefix in their names.
Wow.
It's a family tradition. When you have family traditions, it lets the child know there's something special about my family. Right? One of the things we do in our family, I teach the children when it's your birthday, right? When it's your birthday, yes, we're going to be happy for you. We'll eat cake, we'll have ice cream, all these things we'll sing for you. But make something for your mother on your birthday. So now, mashallah, my children, right? When it's their birthdays, they usually make something nice for their mother. And sometimes they try to say, oh, Daddy, I want to go buy something. I said, no, don't buy something. Make something. Use your hands. Make something. Right? So this is an example. Maybe in quality time and abundant time with your children. Even if you're traveling, call them, Skype them, WhatsApp them. There's one family, the father made hands. He cut out the shape of his hands and put it on a string. So he couldn't, even though he was too far to hug his son, whenever the son missed his father, he would take the hands and put it on the father. Huh? Number 4, allow your children to face challenges and equip them for success or failure. And model patience and all the traits that Allah Ta'ala loves to see in us. Number 5, love and respect your children unconditionally, without strings attached. Nurture their innate talents, even if they love things besides being a doctor, a lawyer, an engineer. Nurture that. Nurture that. If they like music, nurture that. But show them how to channel that into halal. If they like flying kites, nurture that. If they like robotics, nurture that. If they like writing, or nurture whatever they like, but show them how to do what they love in a way that's halal. Don't be afraid to reject harmful cultural practices while loving your culture. And then lastly, create traditions that are meaningful and joyful and celebrate life, and let them know that Islam is a faith of joy. Jazakallah khairan. Are there any questions? And then also there are books up here that I encourage you to look at. The 5 love languages. that's usually given to couples that are married, but you should know your child's love language. There are 5 different love languages. I'm not going to go into that right now, but you can look it up. There's also a book, that book is by Gary Chapman, Positive Parenting in the Muslim Home. This is one of the finalists of the International Book Awards. Please take a look at it. The works of Dr. Maria Montessori, of the Montessori School methodology, all of her books on raising children are amazing and very Islamic. Very Islamic. And then lastly, there's a book here by one of the great scholars of the 20th century, Sheikh Abdul Fattah Abu Ghudda. He wrote a book called Islamic Manners. But this is not one of those adab books written 500 years ago. This is a book on adab that's modern. And how to talk to people, how to answer the phone, how to greet. And our children need to know this, right? How to have adab on social media. How to have adab. Any questions or anything anybody wants to add? We'll take 5-10 minutes for questions. If you have to go, then please, don't feel like you must stay, inshallah. But if you do go, I ask that you please do so quietly. Jazakumullah.